Binks!
Hey, what's up, Jordan?
Not much. You're a former Hearthstone player, and you haven't played at all. You've been cold turkey for like 18 months. Would you say that's accurate?
Pretty much cold turkey. I've been off of it for about 18 months, yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to show you 3 cards. These are new Hearthstone cards, all from the last roughly 18 months. 2 of them are real. 1 of them is fake.
Okay.
Your goal is to discover the fake card.
All right, so 2 of these are real, actual Hearthstone cards. You're even allowed to put them in your decks.
You are allowed to play these cards.
One of them is completely fake that you just made up.
Absolutely. I didn't make them up. They're grabbed from the community.
Okay, so we see Bootstrap Sunken Ear. It's a fun name. Combo, put an enemy minion on the bottom of your opponent's deck. So it's a 5/4/4 that basically silences destroys. It's pretty good, but we know power creep. We have a Faceless Deep Dweller. They do be liking to make faceless cards. Dredge. Okay, I do kind of remember Dredge. That's like you look at the bottom 3, you add 1 to the top.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yeah, this is technically a wild expansion at this point, so it's probably like 2 and a little bit years old. So it's just outside.
Yeah, I do remember this one for sure. Okay, so Dredge, it's a minion. Transform this into a 5/5 copy of it, and then the Bloodspent File was in Dredge. If it's a Murloc, change its cost to health instead of mana. Okay, that's a Warlock Murloc. So that seems very, very on theme for exactly what a Warlock Murloc with a Dredge would do. It'd be changing health or mana to health. So I feel like the one on the right feels very real. So I'm going to put it between the left one and the middle one. Bootstrap Sunken Ear seems powerful, but I think a 5 mana Silence Destroy with a combo on a 4/4 seems like kind of like the perfect level of balance. I bet this probably didn't even see play, even though it seems pretty powerful. And the Faceless one, I feel like if I remember in the past, Faceless cards, there's like, I guess there's Faceless Manipulator. It does seem kind of on theme. But for whatever reason, this middle card just doesn't seem exactly right to me. So I guess my guess is going to be the middle one, Faceless Deep Dweller.
Wow, okay. You're starting off hot here. That is a...
I got it right?
Yes, that is the
Let's
fake
go!
card. I actually don't know if Bootstrap Sunken Ear saw any play.
There's something about rogue cards like that, where there's so many rogue cards that are like the 4 to 6 mana range that seem really powerful in a vacuum, and then you just look back and no one's ever played the card. It just doesn't actually work in practice.
I think you could say that just about epics, probably. Also,
yeah, epics as well.
There's just some epics that are suspicious. The newest expansion to Hearthstone, The Great Dark Beyond, it introduced several things. The first is the new keyword Starship. Basically, a minion will have the Starship piece keyword, and if it dies, it goes into like a dormant placeholder on the board. And when you spend the mana to launch your Starship, all the minions that died that had a Starship piece keyword combine into one big minion. They all do their effects, have their stats as one big minion when it is launched. They also brought back the Spellburst keyword for this expansion, but I think you know what that one does.
I do remember the Spellburst. It gives you an effect when you use a spell when it's on the field.
So
okay, Starship. I have, found my way into like a random Hearthstone Twitch stream here and there.
Sure. Over
the last 18 months, and always seeing like these starships on the field is when it's kind of one of those moments when you haven't played a game in a while and you just look at a board, you're just like, I don't understand what's going on. There's just mana on a little
mana
thing
symbol
on the field,
on the board,
and then it just explodes, and then I just had no idea what was ever happening. Okay, so all of your starship pieces combine into a starship that you can then use 5 mana to resummon and use all the effects of all those cards, essentially, but combine into one, like.
Yep.
Okay.
One minion, and then when it summons, all the battle cries and things would also trigger.
We have 3 neutral cards here. So we have Face of Horrors. Choose an enemy minion. It can't attack this minion. That is a 4/5/4. That sounds like one of the worst cards I've ever seen in my life, but it is potentially an epic pack filler. So
Could be an epic
I
of all
can see
time.
that happening, but that card looks so hilariously unplayably bad. Okay, so we have Star Volpera. It's tradable. Destroy an enemy starship or starship piece. So they included potentially some starship hate into it. So do you need 2 starship pieces to make a starship?
No, you could technically launch just a 1 mana starship piece for 5 mana if you really wanted to.
Okay, so
just
why does it say an enemy
dies.
Starship or starship piece?
So if it was a starship piece that hadn't yet died, the starship pieces only join the like dormant placeholder for a starship once they've died. They're just whatever minion they are until then.
Okay, cool. The mutating life form, after this survives damage, gain a random bonus effect. Another... Ooh, it's an all. That's interesting. All those have always been called amalgams, if I remember correctly, prior to this, or had some amalgamous type of word in their name. This one's tough. I think I immediately want to say the middle one, because I think that, like, from a Hearthstone design perspective, having something say like destroy an enemy starship or starship piece, that sounds probably too wordy for what they would want to do. So I don't know if they would combine those two effects together, and it also seems a bit weird and convoluted. The left one should be fake, but I'm gonna guess it's real and just probably didn't even see play in Arena, which is funny. And the right one gives me a little bit of a push to want to say it, because it doesn't have like the word amalgam and it doesn't look like other amalgams. But I don't know if they've moved on from that kind of like theme of whenever they use the all effect. I really want to say the middle one. Yeah, I'm gonna say the right one. I'm gonna say mutating life form is the fake one of these three.
You are incorrect. The second set of just random epics got you. Do you have a guess between the left and the middle?
I would say it's the middle one for sure.
Oof. You have
0 for 2?
0 for 2. The left card is horribly bad and thankfully does not exist.
Insanely fake card. Yeah, okay. And that one almost looked too fake to be imagining that would be fake.
Yeah, I don't know what they were going for with that card. I mean,
it doesn't do anything. It's
literally
a vanilla
does
5/4, man. It doesn't do anything.
Like, you could play it and pick like a 4/1 2-drop on curve that like just to prevent them from killing it immediately. Like, that's it. Like, I don't, because if you can pick a big minion, they're not going to want to trade anyway.
Yeah, it's like, all right, dude, sorry, I'll just go face.
Right.
Oh no. Oh jeez.
Yeah, still Vulpera, I guess, is like generally sets have like a tech card for the keyword. And this is the one they ended up with. And the right,
It's
I had never
it's just
seen
surprising that it's starship or starship piece. The way that both of those kind of work out was one of those little confusing.
My guess is maybe they thought if it was just starship, it would be too weak. I don't know.
True.
Because historically, the tech cards are generally, thankfully, in my opinion, not that great. The like expansion specific ones. But yeah, and then the right one is like, dude, that card could totally be fake. I would be shocked if that saw play in anything ever. I mean, that card is just bizarre. Like, it has to take damage to do anything, and like.
But it has the all tag. It does have the all tag.
The alt tag. I guess I don't know what tribal stuff they're doing besides like starships. The Great Dark Beyond has a mini set that just recently came out, actually, like a few days ago. And I would say it's probably the most successful launch of content Hearthstone's had in like eons. I mean, it's crazy. It feels like 2016 again. It's kind of crazy. This is the Starcraft mini set. So they've added Starcraft to Hearthstone. So the way it's confusing is there's multi-class cards, and there's cards that are just either Protoss, Terran, or Zerg, but they aren't multi-class. So it's
pronouncing that Terran is crazy.
What is it? Because they're gonna roast me.
Terran.
Terran? Cool.
It's also really funny. My very good friend in college used to play Terran exclusively, and I would call it Tyrann, and I would piss him off, and I would do it all. It's probably where my like mispronouncing of names probably like originally like vocal stim originally started. So hearing you say Terran was crazy.
Okay, so it's Terran. I mean, that makes more sense. There's
Terran,
no O.
Terran, yeah.
Terran. Okay. So there's a symbol that we'll see later for multi-class cards. It's like kind of on the right side. These are just the faction symbols. There's like synergy within the factions, even when they're not multi-class, right? So there may be a card that's like your next Terran card costs less or something, even if it's not multi-class. So these aren't multi-class, but they are factions, and that's, I mean, and then they're just, what better time to introduce StarCraft than a Starship Galaxy themed expansion?
It's a great point. It's a great point. So we have three here. So we have 2 1-mana spells and a 2-mana spell. We have a Shaman 1-mana spell, Lock On, set a minion's health to 1. Your next Starship launch costs 2 less, so that would make the launch cost 3. That's probably really good. That does a lot of things for one mana. Concussive Shells, deal 2 damage, gain 2 armor. Your next Starship launch costs 2 less. I bet there are cards in the game that look hilarious next to this card that also cost 1 mana for Warrior that you can play. Just based on how much this does. Also looks like an insane card. Deal 2 damage, gain 2 armor, and get that card. That seems crazy. Deal 2 damage, gain 2 armor, and get a 2 mana discount on a Starship, which probably you're gonna use if you're gonna. That's a nuts card. And we have Deployment. 2 mana, give a minion 2/1. When it dies, summon a 2/1 Starship piece with an effect with launched. With an effect when launched? What is with an effect?
Yeah, so this goes back to the bonus effect from before. There's bonus effects for the different Starship pieces when they have random effects. So one would be like gain 7 armor, deal 1 to all enemies. It's something that the Starship piece would do when it's launched as a part of the Starship, and you don't get the pick. Cool. It's just random.
Okay, I mean, immediately the middle one seems too strong. The middle one seems like you shouldn't be able to do all those things for a 1 mana card, but we are in 2025 Hearthstone, so who knows? Deployment seems really wordy. Give a minion 2/1, when it dies, summon a 2/1 starship piece with an effect. Do they all say with like an effect, or do they? I feel like does it say that a lot on cards with an effect?
I mean, Hearthstone is not nearly as consistent as it's always been, but yeah, I mean, a random effect or an effect, depending on space.
Setting minions health to 1, your next starship launch costs 2 less. I'm gonna go with lock on. I'm gonna go with the left one.
I do think I've started you out pretty hard here, because these are just like super new, so like the custom card is able to be designed knowing what like the brand new thing is being done, so they're like making it fit in, but it is actually not lock on. That is a real card, and it is quite good.
It seems crazy.
It's quite a good card.
My second guess would be deployment then.
Yeah, that would be correct.
Yeah, and I almost picked, but it seemed, again, it seemed like it was like a little like the ant, like it seemed just too wordy, and just like there's like kind of too much going on.
You almost got, I mean, I think they do say, like, there's a location that just says straight up summon a 2/1 starship piece with an effect when launched. So they've just, like, I mean, this is basically a real card just with a buff because it's, like, Paladin, you know, like, this was tough for sure. But yeah, that warrior card is also just real. It's just a card that exists.
Crazy card, man. Yeah. That card's crazy.
I don't know. I know this faction of Shaman is doing very well. I don't know what Warrior's doing, but if they're doing anything, I'm sure that card's there, because that is a very...
Yeah, if you're going to have any starship thing, I mean, that card does a million things.
And it's going to do a really great job against all the starship pieces, too. So it seems solid. I would expect. Yeah, we'll take a step back here. No crazy, like, fancy stuff. Just cards. Just cards. Just cards, you know?
It's freaking cards, man. We love cards. So this is the main set that the Starcraft one added on to.
This is still from the Great Dark Beyond. They're just not starship related. They're just cards.
Cool. So we have 2 mana, neutral minion, Gold Appraiser. Battle cry, draw a card. If you play it this turn, gain stats equal to its cost. Okay. So 2/1 draw, that there's kind of just like a card that used to do that. And then this also has like a slight bonus effect on it.
Yeah, a little novice engineer power creep.
Yeah.
Which is not hard to do.
I could see that being real. It seems very simple. Extraterrestrial Egg, Death Rattle, summon a 3/5 beast that attacks the lowest health enemy. That kind of gives a little bit of, what was it, the 10 mana hunter card that made all the 3/5s that just freaking
Negrian Slam.
Smash from Negrian Slam, yeah. Basically just a Deca Lunacy mage card, but also kind of, I guess, saw some play.
Yeah, it's a 7-mana mage card. I don't know, 10-mana hunter card. It's crazy.
Star Scale Constellar. Starburst.
Guess is as good
Spellburst. Yes. Spellburst double this minion's attack. Okay, so it's a conditional 8/7, 5 mana 8/7, huh? That's pretty good, but you need to have the Spellburst for it to do anything, and a 5/4/7 is bad. And crazily enough, like playing a 5/8/7 probably isn't even that crazy. But I could definitely see that being some impactful. It's interesting that would be a this is this pretty simple effect. So Extraterrestrial Egg, 3/5 beast that attacks the lowest enemy. I really like the flavor of that card. That seems really cool. It seems pretty on par. So like if you look back at old eggs, it would be like a 4/4 on like a 0/2, like the original like Nerubian egg. It's pretty on par, but I mean, I guess you'd expect it to be a little bit stronger. So that might be a little bit not strong enough. It does give like a rush effect.
Yeah, it's a little stronger.
Which is important.
It attacks the lowest health.
And Gold Appraiser. Why does he have a candle on his head? He's got cobalt vibes. He's a dwarf. That's weird. Why does he have the candle on his head? Aren't they in space and shit?
You think?
I think so, man. I'm gonna go with Extraterrestrial Egg.
No, unfortunately, there's absolutely no reason for this man to have a candle on his head in a space expansion.
No, so I was right. Oh my god, dude, I keep red herringing myself. I keep like finding the right thing and then convincing myself that I'm going too far.
As soon as you had it, I was like, yeah, that's a dead giveaway here. That's a kobold librarian art type thing. Like that doesn't fit at all. But
I gotta stop second guessing myself.
Yeah, just forgot. The effect, I think, like sure, that could fit just like anywhere. But I was like, I almost didn't include this card because it had a candle on its head. I'm like, that's like probably too easy, but it's, you know, I still decided to because, you know, it's a pretty good card. Like it looks sort of like it could be real, albeit maybe not in this expansion. So here's the multi-class tag as we talked about, and then as well as the Zerg faction in this case. The Protoss can be Druid, Mage, Priest, Rogue. Terran can be Paladin, Shaman, Warrior, and Zerg is Death Knight, Demon Hunter, Hunter, Warlock. And then the multi-class symbol is just the little banner on the right. These are also a part of the Starcraft mini set.
Part.
And yeah,
is part. It starts like the purple shell thingy. Okay. So Abathur, at the start of your turn, adapt your other Zergs. Adapt? That's a Journey to Ungoro keyword. Okay. At the start of your turn, adapt your other Zerg. That's a cool idea. Zergling, Battlecry, summon a copy of this. So 1 mana, 1/1. I'm gonna be honest, that looks like a card they put in the game and is probably a problem right now. Brood, because you just can't do that, man. But I feel like that's such a Zergling thing, it would make sense for him to do. And then we have a 3 mana Brood Queen. At the start of your turn, get a larva that transforms into a random Zerg minions. Then of your turn, get a larva.
The larva is essentially like a Shifter Xeris, but it's only for Zerg minions.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So you have like your much smaller amount of options they can transform into.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go with Abathur because I don't think that they would bring back Adapt.
There you go. Trust your instincts on the things that just don't belong at all.
There you go.
Let's
go.
That
would be a very cool card.
Because Zergling is sort of like insane.
Oh, dude, one mana, 1/1 copy this? Of course it's gonna be a problem. Like, what what are they thinking?
There's a card from a previous expansion that its spell burst was give a minion +3/+3 and this spell burst. And day one, they had to ban that card from all formats because it was just broken with Zergling. Because you'd be able to duplicate the spell burst, and so you'd get just massive minions. Like, it was like turn 7 and you're playing a 70/70 Zergling with like 17 spell bursts on it. Like, it was just
that's great.
You love absurd. And there's like, yeah, this is like a busted hero card who's like hero power deals more damage based on how many Zerg minions you have in play, and this is just like, it's so efficient. It's just good. It's just great. But yeah,
now, I will say I do wish they would do more things like just bring back random keywords like adapt, because like that's probably like, I don't know, it seems probably very on theme for whatever this character's doing. It looks like it's like adapt, like
this card
like
I suspect would be awful because it's at the start of your turn and it's an 05. Yeah. It's like Nat Bagel vibes, but
probably at the end. But I guess it has
certainly
to be
should be if you in
start because you get a choice of 3.
If it's the start of your turn, you get to choose. That would make more sense for like why it would be instead of like randomly adapt, you get to choose. I think with this wording, a little bit better maybe, but still probably awful. Nicely done. More Great Dark Beyond cards.
More Great Dark Beyonds. Another Libram. Libram of Divinity. Give a minion +3/+3. If this costs 0, return this to your hand at the end of your turn. Give a minion +3/+3. If this costs 0, return this to your hand at the end of your turn.
So if you manage to reduce it to 0, you just play it every turn.
There used to be, I remember there used to be some Librams, like some things with Librams that like, reduce the cost of all your Librams, but I thought that was like 3 years ago. Doom Maiden. Battlecry. Draw a card from your opponent's deck. If you don't play it this turn, put it back. That's an awful card. Draw a card for that card sucks. Okay, Livid Meteor. Taunt. Battlecry, your next starship launch costs health instead of mana. That's a cool, I don't know if that would see play, but that's a very, very, very thematic, very good thematic card. A okay, I thought it said Living Meteor, but Livid Meteor also sounds cool. Your next starship launch costs health instead of mana. I'm gonna go with my gut again. I don't know if they have continued Libram Paladin, but I just know that I played Libram Paladin like 3 years ago, so I'm gonna guess Libram of Divinity.
You know, that's great logic. They kind of did you dirty there. They did bring new Librams back.
Okay, so that's a real card. Okay, so my second guess would then be Livid Meteor.
Yeah, Livid Meteor is fake. Doom Maiden, I saw for the first time making this. That card looks incredibly fake.
That card is so bad.
I think I've ever seen that card get played, but
look at the top card of your opponent's deck for a 4/4/4. Wow.
Yeah, you like have to play that to like steal a card, I guess. Like it's like a it's like a Timmy card, if that's still a word people use. Like it's like a kind of a fun troll card. Yeah, I don't even know.
You have to have the mana to play the card, man.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I imagine there's just most times you play it does nothing. You just maybe know what they're gonna draw.
If it said after next turn, I think that's an intriguing card. It says like draw a card from your opponent's deck after next turn. If you don't play it, put it back, because then you get like a turn to actually maybe use it.
Yeah.
But I just think that it's.
I don't know. Maybe it'll be good, but I'd be surprised.
And whoever made Livid Meteor, that was a really, really good card. Very thematic. Cool. Very, very well made. Okay, more spaceship stuff. Okay, we have Jettison. 2 mana warrior. Discover a spell. Spend 2 armor to discover another. And 2 armor to discover another. So 2 mana discover 2 spells, but you have to have armor. Yeah, it's interesting. It's also incredibly thematic because it's like showing that they're shooting off bits of armor to like push forward. That's very, very cool and very thematic. Yeah. 3 cost. Demon Hunter. Infiltrate. Choose a minion. Deal 3 damage to all other minions. 3 mana to deal 3 to every. Oh man. That seems really bad. Okay. 3 3 mana Dragon Osophy. Discover a minion and a spell from your deck. If the minion is a dragon, reduce their cost by 1. 3 mana, discover 2 cards in your deck and potentially reduce both by 1. That's crazy. That's so much value for a 3 mana card.
Pretty much forces dragons by
That's
design. Right?
wild.
Yeah.
There was a shaman card that was kind of like that, where it's like you draw a card and if it's a nature spell, draw a spell, and if it's a nature spell, like draw an elemental or something. That I think kind of has like a very similar vibe of like that, just crazy. And reducing the cost is nuts. Infiltrate almost seems too bad. I kind of want to pick. I'm gonna pick Infiltrate. It seems the card seems awful.
I don't know how good or bad this card is. It is real though.
Oh no, it is?
Yeah. Maybe I'll look it up. I'm kind of curious for your sake.
I just can't imagine that in this day and age, like that could be good, because you basically have to have a minion on your side for it to be worthwhile. And a control card like that, if you're just picking a minion on your opponent's side, it doesn't get affected. It seems really weak. So if I had a second pick,
rocking a 30% deck win rate right now. That's pretty funny. It's not being used well at all.
I guess I would say Dragon Osophy.
That is correct. Well,
that card seems, I mean, that would be absolutely deranged. Like, I don't know. You just know, like, every class, I feel like it's like one of those cards every expansion that's just like, oh, this is broken. So you should play dragons.
The comments on the custom website, this apparently started as a 2 mana card, and then people convinced them to put it up to 3.
If that was 2 mana, that'd be crazy, dude. Jettison also, like, amazing flavor.
I mean, if you compare it to, Jettison's super great flavor. I don't think Dragon Osophy would actually be that broken, because you have to, like, run dragon minions, and you're not getting the body like that other card that draws 2. Putting it to Jettison, it's like, you save a mana, lose armor, versus maybe get the mana back, but you have to do dragons. I mean, it's... Yeah,
but Jettison is just random spells. Like, that one's specifically spells
from your
minions in your deck.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Nicely done. Oh, Perils in Paradise. This,
okay, what was this?
Much older, but it's still in standard. They added a few different things with Perils in Paradise, none of which are actually really being shown here. They added drink spells. It's got a very vacation theme, and so the drink spells were like, do something. It was basically twin spell, but it was like 3 times, if that makes sense. Like, you could do a thing, and then it would add a second drink to your hand that would do the same thing, and then when you play the second drink, it would do the same thing as the first drink, but then add a third drink to your hand, that type of a thing. And then the main keyword was tourist. Basically what tourist was kind of like multi-class cards, except there were like pairings of classes. So if you put like, your paladin tourist in your shaman deck or whatever it was, it would let you run paladin cards from that expansion in your shaman deck.
Okay, but only from that expansion. Because actually, I do remember seeing tourist, and I thought it was just ridiculous, because I thought it just meant that as long as you play this card, you can just play as 2 classes.
Yeah, but it's just from that expansion.
Being just the expansion makes a lot more sense.
Yeah, but these are just cards.
Just cards. Just cards. Do some stuff.
Yeah.
So we have Undercooked Calamari. Is a battle cry, destroy an enemy minion with attack less than or equal to this minion's. 3/4 beast. Pretty good like mid-range card, if mid-range still exists in Hearthstone, but probably not. But 4 mana, 4/2 neutral demon. Battle cry, summon one of your destroyed locations. So this would be a control late game style card where you have powerful locations. You get to resummon them. There was one of these for a weapon, if I remember correctly, like replay one of your broken weapons that saw some play.
Some pirate or 2.
Announce darkness. Replace your hero power and non-warlock cards with warlock ones. They cost 1 less. So this is just Renounce Darkness, the priest card, but as a warlock card. That screams custom Hearthstone to me. I'm gonna guess it's Announce Darkness.
First of all, Renounce Darkness was a warlock card also.
What?
Renounce Darkness was a warlock card also, and it said replace your hero power and warlock cards with another classes.
Okay.
The cards cost 1 less. This is replace your hero power and non-warlock cards with warlock ones. They cost 1 less.
Oh, interesting.
But yes, it's also basically, what is it, like some amount of years later, like 6 years later or something?
Yeah, so long. You're right.
Years later.
So I do remember playing
some card.
I do remember playing some Renounce Darkness Warlock and just filling your deck with Warlock cards and two copies of this or in 2 copies of that and just doing it. Is that a real card?
If I could give you half points, I certainly would, because that screams custom Hearthstone. But if for some reason it's real,
that is awesome. I mean, I don't know, dude. I love when they add cards like that.
Yeah. It does seem like the most fake here, I think.
I mean, that screams custom Hearthstone. Man, the other two are just very simple. I guess if I had to pick one of the other two, I guess I'd say Mirage Conjurer.
Nicely done. Yeah, no way to bring back locations. I actually think
that could be very, very strong.
I do think it would actually be very strong. There's actually like location-based decks that are doing fairly well right now in standard, where like the whole basis of the deck is they just have like a bunch of locations. Because there's a giant in standard that gets reduced by 2 every time you use a location proc, I believe. And so like,
oh wow,
it's pretty easy to cheat those guys out.
We love 0/088s.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
we do.
Hearthstone classic staple there.
Classic.
Back
Okay.
to Great Dark Beyond, legendaries. A lot of words, so many words.
Lot
I'm
of
realizing
words.
now in
So
hindsight.
many words.
I've made you read paragraphs here. Oh no.
All right, man. I love reading. Okay, so we have a 5/5/5 Exarch Hataru. Exarch Hataru. Battlecry: discover a spell and reduce its cost by 1. If you play it this turn, repeat this effect. Discover a spell and reduce its cost by 1. If you play it this card, repeat this effect. This is like straight up that there was a priest card that did something very similar. It's like discover a spell that costs 3 or less, and then, or no, it just added 1 to your hand. That was a 5/3/5 if I remember correctly.
Oh, Lyra? Very different.
So one of
card,
those, yeah.
but
It was a priest 5/3/5 where when you play a spell,
just adds
like
one
add a
hand.
spell to your hand or something.
Yeah, that's Lyra.
I guess it's not exactly this one, because this one says if you play that specific card this turn.
And you discover
Very similar vibes. Very
reduces
similar
cost.
vibes.
Yeah, similar vibe.
Ziggy Stardust 4/3/5 battle card would draw the highest cost minion, costs 1 less for each arcane spell you cast this game. On a druid, arcane spell druid, getting a big card. 4/3/5 draw a card and just reduce it by a little bit is already pretty damn good. Then we have Gorm the World Eater, Doom vibes. 3/12/12, dormant for 5 turns. At the end of your turn, destroy the minion to the right of this to awaken 1 turn sooner. It's a 3/12/12
It wants out of its dormant state. Delete the world around it.
for 5, and then you could get it down to like 3, kind of. That's cool. That's a cool card. It's probably horrible, but it's cool. But it's probably horrible. Okay, so we have Ziggy Stardust. Ziggy Stardust seems really good. It seems really, really powerful. Probably a way to, if Arcane Druid ever exists, it's probably literally because of this card. And then Exarch Heteru. Discover a spell and reduces cost by 1. If you play this turn, repeat this effect. Gorm World Eater seems like a card that they would put out, because there was another card that was similar to this. It was like a warrior card. It was like a
Yeah.
some like 12/12 with like rush or something. I feel like they're probably trying to do that again, and it seems very flavorful. I'm gonna say that Gorm World Eater is real. Ziggy Stardust seems very powerful, but it seems like a cool card. I'm gonna go with Exarch Hetaru as the fake card. I don't like that response.
Yeah, no, I think this is like impossible, this slide in hindsight. This is like just 3 legendaries that like all could be real or fake, but
That have like 3 effects each.
yeah, but Ziggy Stardust is the fake one. I don't know how good or bad that would be, but
It seems really cool. I mean, like I
It's
said,
true to
I don't know
draw
if
and-
Arcane
and-
Druid seems real, but
Tutor Draw and Druid would probably be very good, regardless of arcane spells, I suppose.
I knew Gorm was going to be real, man. That
Yeah,
just seems,
it
is
very-
it terrible? Does no one
Yeah.
play it? I'm guessing.
Very similar to
Yeah.
Slag Maw vibes, which was that warrior one. you're talking
Slagmaw.
about.
That was the one that I was
That
thinking.
card
of,
actually
yeah.
got buffed, and still I mean, it did a little bit more, but
It's got the darkness vibes, bro.
yeah, it's a 4-mana 16/16 with Rush and Taunt, and they changed it from dormant for 8 turns to dormant for 6 turns, and the Excavate made it awake 2 turns sooner. It was like maybe okay at 6 instead of 8, but still don't remember it being anything special. But yeah, that's probably the hardest slide yet.
I feel like if Gorm said destroy all cards on the right of this and awake 1 turn sooner for each, I feel like that's a very appealing card. A
Yeah,
very interesting card where you
sacrifice
could like
some-
throw a bunch of tokens out.
Yeah.
But
some
if just one
Zerglings.
proc, it's just nothing.
Yeah, probably. I believe this is our final card. Some Starcraft's mini set cards here.
All right, we gotta get this one then. We gotta get this one. And we have some experience seeing some of the StarCraft sets, so maybe we get a little bit more. Okay, we have Boarding Procedure, 1 mana Shaman, tradable. Transform your minions into 2/1 Starship pieces whoa. Transform all of your minions into a 2/1 Starship pieces with an effect when launched. So just to clarify, this would turn every minion on your board into a 2/1 Starship piece, and then they would all combine.
So, no, Starship, they would be 2/1s that do nothing immediately, but then when they die, they get added to the Starship. And
Okay.
then when the Starship is made, they would all cast their effect as a part of that Starship.
Okay, cool. I still don't think I get the Starship thing, but I'm starting to get it more.
Yeah, so like a Starship piece, like a 2/1, that would be like, it would say like when launched, gain 7 armor. So like when it shows up in play, it does nothing. But when the starship gets launched, you now have 2/1 added to its total stats, and you gain 7 armor. As like that one starship piece would do that.
And then if there was like 5 of them, then it would have just 5 effects. And a bunch of
I mean, you may low roll and get the worst effect 7 times if you had a full board, but you know, it's
Okay, then we have Consume. Remove 1 durability from a friendly location to restore 8 health to your hero. That seems probably very thematic to Starcraft if I knew how that game worked. There's probably something that hurts one of your buildings to build something else or gain something. Skiv 1/1/3. Battle Cry, your next starship launch costs 2 less. That's a good card, man. There's a 1/1/3 with pretty crazy
multi-class
effects.
and Terran.
Yeah. I don't think there would be a card in Hearthstone that you would use to remove a durability from a location to get an effect. But I'm gonna pick Consume as the fake card.
Oh, wow. I thought I ruined it when I told you that there was a location warlock deck earlier. As soon as I saw this card, I was like, oh shoot.
you implanted some bad things. Did I get it right?
No. Consume is very real and the deck's very good. I was worried. I was like, oh shoot, I just talked about this deck, but yeah, fair enough.
Okay. I would say boarding procedure then is what I would say.
Yep. Yeah, that card, I think, would be... It's hard to say because it's like kind of evolved, but it's not because there are only 2/1s. But you would certainly juice your starship if you were willing to transform whatever you had. But honestly, it might suck. I don't know. I really couldn't. That card could be busted or suck. I couldn't tell you. That's why people can't review cards.
At least
we
okay
have
with
no
tradable.
idea.
Yeah.
Did you like the tradable touch? That thankfully
I'm not
has been an
surprised at
evergreen
Consume.
keyword, which is nice.
I'm surprised that's a real card. That's probably very thematic if you play Starcraft. It probably makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's why like the mini set cards were so hard for you, is because they're like designing these. It's like really kind of easy for like the custom creators in a lot of ways to design these because they've already seen the Hearthstone ones and have like, hey, the Starcraft background. So, but yeah, boarding procedures is the fake card. Nicely done. That is the end of our game. Thanks for playing, Binks. I hope you enjoyed trying to figure out, as a former player, what cards are real or fake.
I did, man. This is really, really cool. Love this format. I think it's interesting to think about like what as someone who played a lot of Hearthstone and was around a lot of like design philosophy for what Hearthstone was, to try and like use that to kind of like break down and deduce new cards when I don't really know the rest of the sets, but. Really, really cool, man. I think I did okay. I feel pretty positive with how I did, but this is an awesome format, man. This is really fun.
I'm notorious for making my shows way too hard, so I think you did very well.
Thank you.
Nicely done. If you guys enjoyed that video, be sure to subscribe, and if you'd like, I'll have Binks on for some more games in the future.